Hey guys, today we're going to be annotating Act 4, Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice for psychoanalytical theory. It is important to note that since everything we as humans do is controlled by forces in our mind, that this entire play could be annotated for psychoanalytical theory, but we decided to show you this particular scene because of the way the characters present themselves through their mannerisms and how they talk about their the characters around them. Scene 1 from Act 4 begins with the Duke and Antonio discussing the arguments about to take place in court. On the right here we can see that the Duke takes Antonio's side by relating Shylock to the Thanatos desire, which is the tendency to want to be merciless and violent, which is often very looked down upon in society. Antonio responds by talking about how he doesn't really see eye to eye with Shylock. It's significant because he doesn't understand Judaism at all whatsoever, and doesn't see how he can be so angry with him to want a pound of his flesh. Antonio just sees it as blind rage for no reason, but he has been very hateful towards Shylock this entire time. And then it's also important that he compares himself to Shylock so that he appears more empathetic by saying like, oh, I'm so great, no lawful means can carry me out of his envy's wretch. I do oppose my patience to his fury. He's making himself seem like the more calm person who doesn't represent the Thanatos desire. He's like the level-headed one who should be listened to in court, not Shylock. Here we have the Duke with a short monologue, and he is continuing to show how he feels about this case, saying that Shylock is strangely cruel and not willing to put aside his beliefs for the life of a man, and how he's not willing to show any mercy whatsoever. In the middle where he says, but touched with the human gentleness and love, forgive moiety of the principal, and glancing an eye of pity on his losses. I guess he tries to empathize with him a little bit, but still doesn't really see eye to eye with Shylock's beliefs or why he has decided to take this violent route with Antonio. Lastly, on this small monologue, he references the Turks and the Tartars, which is a reference to make his argument, to justify his argument of how hateful Shylock is and how how Antonio doesn't deserve his fate. Here we see Shylock's argument in the case. He starts off by talking about religion and how he is going to tell the truth because he appeals to his highest God to tell the truth. Or not really appeals to his God, but swears on his on the highest power he knows that he will tell the truth in this case. This shows that we can trust him to show all of his beliefs and all of what he's thinking, and be just totally transparent in this case. And then he goes on to appeal to logos, which is the logical approach to persuasion. And he mostly asks these hypothetical questions that justify his argument and how he believes Antonio should be punished. Here is a powerful exchange between Bassanio and Shylock. Bassanio raises the question of men killing the things that they do not love, meaning, if you hated something, would you kill it? Like anything? To which Shylock responds with another hypothetical question: if hates any man the thing he would not kill? Meaning, pretty much saying, like, wouldn't you kill something that you hated? Therefore justifying his wanting to kill Antonio. Bassanio goes on to note that every offense is not a hate at first, which is a statement of a true fact. I believe this is the first time that someone besides Shylock in this particular scene uses logos. So far, it has been a very emotionally charged argument for Antonio and the Duke against Shylock, while Shylock was just stating hypotheticals and questioning their intent towards incriminating him. Bassanio says this so that we can see that his actions aren't just rooted in hate. They're also they also originated from violent intent. And then Antonio talks about, he makes a biblical reference to the ewe bleeding for the lamb. The lamb is a common archetype in the Bible, which is the main religion that it's the predominant religion in both Italy and for the majority of the world. By saying this, people can relate to his argument and are more willing to side with him than they are with Shylock. Even on the bottom of his little spiel, he says, "Let me have judgment, and the Jew his will." Perhaps this is a reference to Judgment Day in Catholicism. Judgment Day is whenever there is it's like an apocalypse where everyone dies and the Lord will pass judgment on those who enter into his kingdom. So maybe Antonio is saying, give me the full power in this case. He's saying, don't listen to the Jew because his ideas are evil and they're not as righteous as his. In the end of this case, we see that Shylock is forced to conform to everyone else's ideals of religion, and he basically loses all the important things in his life. He loses his money, his daughter, his entire identity, really. All these things are stripped from him. And so we see that throughout the entire play, Shylock is more than just an angry Jewish man out for blood and flesh. He is also, he's just a fully rounded character, going through struggles of his own to be able to express his identity and religion. So that's it. I think that we have gone through a lot of really good things today, and I'm very happy to have helped in understanding psychoanalytical theory, and I hope you guys have a great day.